Welcome to Living in the Light, and I'm Mary Amy, and I'm all about shifting away darkness, guiding you to your truth potential, and cracking open that beautiful glowing light in your heart. Welcome, welcome. It's April 21st, 2023. It is Friday, and it is a glorious day here in New York. I'm coming to you live, and I had a chance to spend some time outside in nature today, and I suggest that for all of you. How's everyone doing? Boy, oh boy, there's a lot going on as always because the shift is on. We're having all of this change happen across the globe. And here I am a little bit earlier. It's going to be a quick show, but I wanted to get here and say hello to everyone. And I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. Is there going to be some unusual occurrences this weekend? We're going to find out. So tonight I'm going to speak about, or early evening, it's not tonight yet, Project Odin, which is known as EBS, Emergency Broadcast System. Worldwide Blackout and Earth Alliance. Of course, I'll mention angels. I don't know if I'm going to have a chance to do psychic phenomenon. Now, interestingly enough, I looked up the word Odin because I was trying to figure out how to pronounce it. Project Odin is known as EBS. And it's funny because Odin was the great magician among the gods and was associated with ruins. So go figure. I don't know why it was named after him. In the Bible, it says he was the highest of gods. Go figure. Well, let's just mention what's been happening. Now, of course, I'm going to say, don't forget to write down your dreams. Have a good intention, which is a commitment to do your best. And remember that your thoughts are very powerful. There's charged impulse. They're a charged impulse, and they have feelings and emotions attached to them. So they're very powerful. And that's how you can influence your future, is through your thoughts. I found out that on April 17th, this is a development, that there was gold stolen in Canada. Have you heard about that? And it's just a little bit of a coincidence, isn't it? Because we know, as we spoke about last night, that there's quite a few states now taking gold as tender. They take it, like, in other words, as currency. And there was this gold stolen, and it was stolen out of an airport in Canada. The airport was the Pearson Airport in Toronto on April 17th. I don't know. Now, there's a lot of mystery to this loot because, number one, it's very confusing. I think I might close this window because they're outside mowing the lawn. Like the timing of this, right? There's a lot of mystery about this gold being stolen from Pearson Airport in Canada because it's vague. There's some vague references to it. Now, there was many articles about it, and each one had different numbers involved. They said some articles said it was $100 million that was stolen, $100 million worth of gold. Then other articles said it was 15 million. Other articles said it was 20 million. That's not the only vague part of what we're finding out. They're not willing to share with who sent it and where it was going. They're just saying it was stolen. So it was a massive gold heist, 3,600 pounds. Now I'm a little wary of this because think about it. They're not telling you where it's coming from, or maybe that's just what they're putting out for publications. But 3,600 pounds. And then they said, how did they get at it? Well, they accessed the public side of the warehouse that is leased to a third party. So someone knew the gold was there. Someone knew the gold was there. And they said it was in a 5-foot container. 5-foot container, 3,600 pounds, 100 million. I don't know. There's some things here about this story. Do I believe gold was stolen? I always believe there's a thread of truth. There's a thread of truth. So yes, there was gold stolen. Why did they put this out? So it came from a container in one of the aircrafts. So they're not giving any info about where it was traveling from or where it was headed. They're just saying it was gold stolen. So that's a story that's very interesting in this time. It's very timely, isn't it? because we have been sharing about the importance of gold right now and precious metals. And I'm even going to mention that because we're going to speak about Nasara Jasara tonight. There's a lot out there, and I wanted to definitely get on tonight because tomorrow, not tomorrow, take it back, April 23rd, Sunday in the UK, they've announced that Sunday in the UK, everyone's phone is going to have a tone, an alert, an emergency broadcast alert at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And they said, keep your phones on. And I've heard different truth seekers saying or worried, is this going to be some kind of frequency that they send out through the phone? Is this going to harm us? What is that? What does this mean? Why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? Now in Florida, they did a test in Florida to, not last night, the night before at 4 a.m. for 4:30 a.m. And what did I believe this to be? Well, I kind of put it into my intuition today before I went to my job in the Matrix. And I said, what exactly do I sense it to be? And I sense it to be, why did only Florida get this? And they said some in New York. I believe it's a test to see if it works. I don't believe that this is harm. I don't believe that this is going to be harm to us, a frequency. We already are getting many frequencies. There's frequencies coming through on our television, through the radio, in the air. We know that. I don't think that's what they're doing. I believe that this is literally an alert practice, a test run to see if it works. And then they're going to do the full-blown emergency alert, which is what we've been talking about. Now, I want to share with you, before I get onto these subjects, this morning, I was on my way to the gym really early. I was on my way, not as early as yesterday, but pretty early. I was on my way. It was 6 o'clock a.m. And I'm driving down a main road, and in front of me, and it was probably 100 feet in front of me, I see a deer, another deer, 4 deer crossing the road. And I said, oh my gosh, this is a moment. This is a sign. This is so positive because they're crossing the road in front of me. There was no cars behind. There's no cars behind me. There was no cars in front of me. So I had a chance to pause and have this experience. So they got to the other side of the road, and I said, oh my gosh, this is divine. This is divine. This is creatures of the earth. It's showing how we are all collective, the oneness. Here I am, like so close to these deer, 4 of them. And usually when they head over to the other side of the road, they kind of run off. Well, these deers paused, and I pulled up and stood there staring at me, all 4 of them. And I whipped out my phone, and I thought that I hit, video, and I hit photo. And I was so entranced. I was in a trance with these deer. I'm looking at these deer, and they're looking at me, and I'm thinking I'm taking the video. And then they scurry up onto a lawn, someone's lawn. It was a residential area. And then I looked down. I said, "Oh, rats! I didn't hit video." So I hit the video, and I got 2 of them on video. And then they scurried off, and then they went to another spot, and I took another little video of them. And that was really lovely this morning. Funny thing, when I got back from the gym, what was in my driveway? Bunnies. Little bunnies were in my driveway. I said, oh, this is a sign. Now you could say, oh, well, it's a sign of nature. It's a sign of springtime. That's what happens in springtime. Yes, I mean, you could say that. However, I believe this is a sign of shift. And I believe that nature was here first. And for those out there that are trying to rid our planet of nature, and who they say, oh, well, I'm putting up a tree, or I'm cutting down a tree, or I'm building this building or this development, and nature can just get out of the way. I'm sorry to say, but they're God's creatures just like we are. So we have to protect them and love them like we love each other. So that's my little story today. It was fun. All right, so this morning, today, we're going to talk about Project Odin, EBS, Emergency Broadcast System. Now, our world is built on a bunch of lies, and on the backs of everyday citizens. They've been using us like you and I. They've been using us like you and I. The Rothschilds, the British royalty, the Vatican, and they've owned the globe and its inhabitants up until now. And you know, I think it's over for them. I know it's over for them. I get different glimpses of what's occurring, and maybe it hasn't occurred yet, but it's going to. And we're going to see it in our physical reality. And there's a lot of change already. I was watching this woman on YouTube yesterday, and I heard about her. Nancy Drew's her name. You know, Nancy Drew was a little mystery series of books for kids. Well, this woman, Nancy Drew, has been for 2 years going into Washington, D.C. You can check her out. And she films Washington, D.C. And we believe, oh, there's all this going on in Washington, D.C. And there are these leaders walking around, and they're at the White House and the Capitol, and they're on the streets in Washington, D.C. They're not. I watched her video from yesterday, the day before, and then I even scrolled back to 2 years ago, and there's a big difference from 2 years ago. So something changed. Hey, who is that? Ian K, you haven't been here in a long time. How are you, Ian? Great that you're joining us. It's probably because of the hour. I'm here a little bit earlier. And she takes these videos of Washington, D.C. because I had heard, and I think I mentioned it to you, all of you, in our family of light. Here we are. You are worthy being of light. Doesn't matter where you live. Doesn't matter what you look like. Doesn't matter what you have. And it doesn't matter what job you have either. You're worthy being as is. Love yourself. Have unconditional love for yourself. You know, you tune into your heart and you have love for yourself. So back to Washington, D.C. I've been saying, well, if I only knew, if I could only just drive up to Washington, D.C. and just check it out for myself, because if I don't know someone personally, basically, then I don't know if they're telling me the truth. Is Washington, D.C. still running as usual? This woman went around and videotaped. No, it's not. And there are these fences, and there's a lot of tourists. So I don't know exactly what's going on. However, I sense that there's a big change, and we're going to see it. Now, we have not been able to see it because it's been hidden, because we only know the mainstream media, which is owned by all of these bad guys, I guess you could say. The evil has owned the media, and we could only find out news through other sources. And maybe it was someone on YouTube. Maybe it was someone on Twitter. But that's all going to change, isn't it? So here we are on April 21st, right? And basically, we are wondering about this EBS, this emergency. Hey, Craig, thanks for joining us. I'm fine, thanks. It's a bit earlier. What time is it? Where are you, Ian? So we're basically experiencing Operation Disclosure. And is that a legit government project? No, that's probably a Q terminology, Operation Disclosure. And there's going to be a worldwide blackout, allegedly. So it's going to wipe out all, they already have. Operation Disclosure has wiped out all of the satanic influences. And I'm going to go through some of them. I'm just going to give you a little bit of a reminder. So they've been targeting these satanic influences that have been enslaving humanity for hundreds of years. And we're going to enact Nasara Jasara, which is the elimination of the IRS and the abolishment of the IRS. And we're going to have our credit cards, basically, I guess, no debt on our credit. So we'll be debt free, and our mortgages, and the money's going to go back to the people. So the people will be freed. People will be freed. And so this is what's happened. They're taking down the following. Now, maybe it's Q, the white hats, the military, Donald Trump, the Earth Alliance. I'm kind of putting all of my topics today together because they are all related. So bear with me. Now, from what I understand, There were tunnels under the Vatican. There was gold under the Vatican. Is it still there? Or did the white hats in the military scoop it up and take it away? Take it back. Buckingham Palace. What's really going on there? About the Vatican, by the way, the Pope, that guy there, he's a Freemason, right? You know, he was doing the handshakes with Hillary Clinton and some of those other rascals there from Washington, D.C. that we know are not to be trusted, those politicians. So Buckingham Palace, the Queen died. Now, I heard that they could not utilize the Queen anymore because apparently there was some kind of shape-shifting creature that lived within her. Now, was it some kind of extraterrestrial? Was it demonic? I don't know. But whatever happened, that she's done for. She passed away. And so Buckingham Palace is on the list. And these are all the entities across the globe that are being taken out or have been taken out. And maybe it's just a cardboard cutout we're looking at. And behind the scenes, there's nothing inside. The place is empty. I don't know. We're going to find out because I believe disclosure is coming, and that's what's going to happen from the emergency broadcast system, this Project Odin. So let's go through it. I'm probably not going to stop. I'm just going to run through the list. The White House. Is that Joe Biden administration real? Is that really Joe Biden, or is that a mask, an actor? And that's just something that's put there so that they can take care of things behind the scenes or find out who the guilty parties. CERN, we know about CERN. They opened up CERN. They hadn't done that for a long time. And they were trying to bring about some kind of frequency, some kind of energy that was going to disarm us and continue to enslave us. I don't think it worked. Big Pharma, right. I did read that they took down their mandatory, and they're saying, oh, well, we don't know if it's really necessary. Now they're saying that, some of these pharma, because they're probably going to be sued, or I don't know, maybe they're going to end up at the tribunals, the military tribunals. The Khazarian controls the CCP, Israel. Now the media, I don't know what's going to happen if they're going to be held accountable, the media, because they're paid. I don't know if everyone who's been a reporter is going to get in trouble, but I don't believe we're going to be still watching the news the way we do. There's 34 satanic buildings. There's the Getty Museum, there is the Playboy Mansion, and there are many more. Yeah. The Rods of God Den, which is Den, a directed energy weapon. Now, what's going to happen with these buildings? Will they be, I don't know, will they be demolished? Or will they be something for us to walk through? I don't know if anyone's going to want them to continue on our planet past their expiration date, aren't they? You know, I was like peeking behind, personal story. I was peeking behind, I heard something fall and I was peeking behind my stove, and I looked behind there and there was a bag of bread, sourdough bread. And I said, that bread, how long has that been there? I pulled it out. It was like green covered mold, and it was expired in January. So it fell behind there. And guess what? I think all of these buildings and individuals that I'm speaking of are covered in mold. They have an expiration date. They are done. Worldwide, light will be shifted, powered off, switched off. You know, that's what they're saying. They're flipping the switch. So now we're getting into some of the EBS. Planes and trains will be grounded. There'll be a transfer to the Tesla free energy. Tesla created energy, invented energy, free energy in, what was it? Was it in the 1800s or the early 1900s? Because I know another civilization was in existence in the late 1800s, which I speak of Tartaria. And they had, I mean, I was looking at some kind of Ferris wheel yesterday. There was a video on Twitter, and this Ferris wheel held 2,000 people. How is that possible? Could they do that now? I don't think so. So there was free energy before. They were utilizing the ether, the water, and metals to bring about free energy. But the deep state, the satanic cabal, the elite cabal, these bloodlines, and whoever else was doing some of this bad, heinous acts against humanity did not want these inventions and patents to be discovered because they wanted to control us. Yesterday, I spoke about the man who had created the Cloud Buster, and he also created the Oregon, the Oregon Energy Accumulator, and it was a box, and it was cured cancer. And there was materials that lined in the inside, those metallic layers of different kinds of materials within this box, and it was life size. And he started by giving injections to mice that had cancer to see if it worked, this Oregon Energy, and it did. And so he invented this box. Well, guess what? I shared with you yesterday. The FDA banned it, and then the government banned it, and then they had a burning, and they burned everything that he had, burned everything, so cancer would not be cured. So we've already had some of these inventions. I mean, there's a lot of intelligent people across the globe. It's just been hidden. I believe that these patents will come forward. So the financials backed by precious metals are coming forward. The stock market will crash. The quantum financial system will come online and everything will be transferred. Now, I don't know if they're going to have these restitution meetings where you go to a building and they give you your phone and your computer, this quantum phone and computer, and then they tell you, okay, do you have a humanitarian effort that you would like to share, and we will give you the funding. I don't know if that's a pipe dream or that's a real thing. I do believe, though, that we are shifting into a new civilization. There will be an election flipping. Are we still going to have leaders as we did before? I don't think we will, because when the systems crash, everything that was with them will crash as well. There'll be military court tribunals. The emergency broadcast system will be running across the globe, and we will be told, go to your home. All the disclosures will be revealed in these documentaries, and there'll be an inauguration. The quantum Starlink system will come online, and the Mossad media will be destroyed. So is it Q? Is it Space Force? Is it Donald Trump? Is it the White Hats? Is it the military? I don't know, but there is something going on behind the scenes. Now, if we knew everything that was going to happen and we knew when it was going to happen, guess what? So with the bad guys, everything's been done in secrecy, and that's to keep it running smoothly. And I bet that it's so cryptically done that we would never know, even if it was right in front of us. Just like we didn't know all these evildoers that were running around before our eyes, and we were like, oh, that's our leader. They're here to take care of us. Who's this? Hey, Michael Jackson, so glad you're here. So we have a couple of you guys. Thanks for joining us. Happy weekend. Here we are. We're in the 5D. We're in the new earth, and we're just in the middle of the transition. We left the 3-dimensional. We're headed to the 5-dimensional if we're not already there. If you're existing in love, love, love 24/7, then you're already in the 5D. If you're in joy, joy, joy. If you are feeling like you want to just hug your neighbor, then you might already be in the 5-dimension. We have to have patience. We have to be fearless. We have to discover and maintain love and peace within ourselves. Now, I know that we've felt as though we were bamboozled. There's been a lot of false knowledge that's been given to us. but it's been removed. It's being removed. Okay. So there are announcements coming. It's exciting. There's some announcements coming. I don't know. I'm doing some research, traveling down the rabbit hole myself and sharing with you topics that I sense are pertinent to what's going on across the globe. I'm making some discoveries, but it's difficult because there is no clarity. There is no clarity. There's a lot of information, but there's not necessarily a source that you can have proof from. So we just have to kind of take it from a sense within ourselves and just trust that we will be okay and we will figure it out. So these tests on the emergency broadcast system in the last few days, I believe, are preparing for an official EBS activation. And that's why I'm bringing this up this evening. And then we are supposed to have 10 days of darkness, which they say you probably should have some essentials like food, water for 2 weeks, they say. The phones, the internet, the credit card, debit cards will not work. I don't know about the television because how are we supposed to watch these alleged documentaries? I heard that the redemption meetings will take place at Tier 4B, whatever that means. The US dollar will no longer be accepted for exchange. Only the US dollar is no longer being accepted in other countries except for the US, Mexico, and Canada. The rich will lose all their power. There will be no money anymore, just gold-backed currency and whatever's going on, like maybe rainbow currency in the quantum financial system. So this is a reset. We're about to have a reset. I keep mentioning Donald Trump. I keep mentioning the White Hats. And back in 2017, there was someone that put out on I guess it was some kind of chat board and these cryptic messages. Sorry about that. I forgot to turn my phone off. And this individual was known as Q. Now, we never found out who Q was. There was some guesses who Q were, and it became the Q movement. And these were followers and supporters of Donald Trump and what he represented, the Q movement. And it became known as the White Hats, the military, or it was all kind of globbed together, and they were all together joining together to change the world, basically. And it's so interesting to me because if this in fact is true, that Donald Trump is behind this, he basically outwitted, if this is the case, then he outwitted all of these intellectuals and all of these beings that believed and were saying, kind of knocking him down every chance they could. It's going to be a little bit, I guess, funny or strange or like humorous if in fact he has done the list of items that I just mentioned, this Operation Disclosure and knocking all of this out. If in fact he was behind this. So it's been a wage of a war against evil Satan and the worshipers of the deep state, the media, the business, and the Hollywood members. So the belief is that those who have committed certain crimes against humanity would be arrested and there would be a military tribunal and an execution. And this is what the Q followers believe. This is what they believe. They believe that they will pay, all of those that have harmed humanity. And so back in 2017, Q was discovered and claimed that they had Q clearance and levels of clearance in the US security. In other words, they knew what was going on. And 2017, so that is how many years ago? That's what, 6 years ago? So 6 years ago, someone started posting and giving these cryptic messages on this chat board about what was to come. And for me, I don't really understand a lot of it because I don't know these breadcrumbs. They call them breadcrumbs, Q drops, because I wasn't really aware of it going on. It was on the message board for channel. So it's a cryptic language with slogans, pledges, and pro-Trump themes. So millions right now believe in Q, believe in the Q movement, pro Donald Trump. Now, the media, all of the social media, like the media, when I say the news, the mainstream media, and social media, were preventing any kind of Q movement. They banned anyone who wrote about it. They did not speak about it. When I started researching today, and I've researched in the past, today I had more luck because I did it through DuckDuckGo. I found more articles. But for the most part, it was basically they made a joke about it because they said, this isn't true. None of this is true, this Q stuff. And what I realized about the Q is that they were the ones that brought up about the pedophilia. They were the ones that brought up about the human trafficking and the child trafficking. So I'm starting to wonder if this was just something that was squashed because they were fearful that everyone else would get wind of it. Well, they have, because here we are. Now, there's some interesting terms. Now, I don't know if you want to stomach these, and I'm about to tell you, that are known to be through the Q breadcrumbs. And one is Pizzagate, which was from 2016 theory, that the coded messages uncovered, and this was from, I think it was emails WikiLeaked from some of these officials in Washington, D.C. Pizzagate was known. There were these coded messages uncovered and connected to high-ranking Democratic officials and U.S. restaurants with human trafficking and a sex ring. In other words, you'd order this pizza from a certain restaurant, it meant that you wanted to get a person. So this is what we're dealing with here. And that's probably why, if in fact these documentaries do come on and we do watch these, I'm probably not going to watch most of it because I can't do it. If anything's about this stuff is just too much for me. Like I'm too empathic. I'll like have to take medication, so I won't be able to do it. Another was, I can talk about it for a second and then move on. Another was frazzle drip, which was claims that Hillary Clinton participated in ritual murder. And those are some harsh items, but that's pretty much the stuff that was going on. And the Q movement has been sharing this with us, and they tried to. And there are those out there right now. If you look on some of these social media on Twitter, you can see that there's a lot of the Q movement going on right now because they're saying, look at this, remember that drop, remember this breadcrumb. Now, some offshoots of what has happened in the last few years is the discovery of these DUMBs. I've mentioned DUMBs before, and the DUMBs are the deep underground military bases. DUMBs, D-U-M-B-S. And there was a man called Phil Schneider who actually helped erect some of these underground military bases. And what exactly are these for, and how many of them? And I started to kind of look into this and say, wow, what is this exactly? And he worked for the government, and he was involved in the construction of these deep underground military bases. And he said in 1995 publicly, he did interviews. This was not hearsay. He literally, I have to find on YouTube myself, he did interviews. He said there was 129 active military bases in America. 129 underground. And there was 2 under construction. And he said a minimum of 2 in every state. And then there was a list of where they were located in each state. So someone went about and found them. So because of that it's publicly on the internet for me to look at, my eyes It's not like I have some high security, which means that they're already actually been thoroughly taken out, dissolved, basically. Worldwide, it's said that there's 1,450 dumb bases, 1450. So you can see the work that's involved in taking down the deep state. This is the deep state. Now, he also said that 62 of the 122 bases underground. Now, this is the part that, whether or not you believe in this or not, bases were used to house alien species and the government made treaties with. Okay, now also they were used for humans for biological, chemical, and mind control development. That part I don't know what to believe. I mean, that I've shared with you. Oh, I get these downloads and light codes, and I see an extraterrestrial, and they're speaking to me, or they're trying to, or they're communicating, and it's very real, and I'm awake. So I'm not doubting this. It's just interesting. Also in 2001, Stuart Sheridan reported there was 133 active dumb bases in the USA. So there's two sources right there that say this. Now, poor Phil Schneider, he went on, did some interviews, and then he was murdered in Oregon in 1996, January. And then all of his property was missing, gone missing. All his alien artifacts, all of his journals, and all of his records. So somebody took him out. Now, I've heard in the past when someone goes up against the deep state, that was in 1996, so that was quite a few years ago, went up against the deep state, then all of a sudden they committed suicide, or all of a sudden they had a car crash, or all of a sudden they went missing. And that's typical because they had so much power. Now, if we want to overcome what's going on right now, we have to consider to have alignment. Now, I just shared with you some possibilities of events that are coming forward. However, I've shared with you over and over again that you don't have to have worry. You are a fearless being of light. You are so powerful. You have advanced technologies within you. Your DNA is being activated. Now, when all of this is happening, what's parallel? Here we go. We're going to do a parallel. Here, all of these events that I just listed, whether or not it's the emergency broadcast system, so what? So you have to get some extra food, big deal. So what? You watch some stuff on TV and then you turn it off. But what's the outcome is going to be a better world. So that's running. Then is the solar flash happening. And then is the quantum financial system coming in, and the banks will go to zero and the stock market crash. So there's three things that are possible. Now, there also is the chance that we will have the second coming of Jesus Christ, if you believe in Christ consciousness. That's a possibility too. There is something enormous, and I could tell you for months I've had these dreams. Maybe a tsunami, something I saw through a window. I spoke about light on the horizon. Good things are coming beyond our view, and I'd have these dreams of the sun rising, and I'd go to the window in my dream. And this wasn't just one time. This happened to me time after time after time. There would be a big wave coming over us, but I never felt in any of these dreams that I should be fearful. And so I'm telling you, you should not be fearful. You should rejoice and be happy because this is exciting. Remember to have alignment. And how are you going to have alignment? You're going to have alignment by, here we go, tuning inward, loving yourself. We say you close your eyes, you do the steps that we spoke about. And the steps are that you're relaxing. Hey, Ginny, you are relaxing like you're a rag doll. And you're pushing away any thoughts. Nothing matters. You don't need to take on any looping thoughts. Doesn't matter. It's already happened. What's behind you doesn't matter what's in front of you because you're in this moment. You're grounding yourself into this moment. And you are tuning inward. And you are going to your heart. And you're relaxing your whole entire physical body and your mind. and you're focused on your breathing, and you're inhaling, you're holding a breath, and you're doing a 4 count, whatever count you want to do, a 9 count, whatever you need, a 12 count, and then you're releasing. So it's basically inhaling for a count, holding it for a count, and releasing it for a count. And then you're dropping down into your physical body, and you're pushing away, and you're saying, I'm not going to have any doubt. I'm not going to have any worry. I'm going to just focus on my breath, tune into my heart, or tune into something that I want to ask myself, because you have an inner life that's going on within you. Within you, there's so many systems that are together connecting your emotional, your physical, your mental, your spiritual. And together, you must have alignment with them. Just like your thoughts, your words, and your actions must be in alignment. So when we ground ourselves, when we have alignment, we imagine our feet firmly planted in the earth's surface. Maybe we go out and spend time in nature, and that helps us. Like I say, put your hands on a tree, put your bare feet on the roots of the tree, and just pause there for a minute. And maybe you feel silly, but I'm going to tell you right now, a strong, healthy tree is very powerful and energetically, because it's rooted in the earth. When you go out into nature, don't bring your phone, don't bring technology, just be in there. You don't need it. We're going to have to let go of technology soon. It's not going to be part of our life. We're going to be operating mind to mind. We're not going to have this phone that we're walking around connected to. We're just not. Okay? So I'm wishing good things for everyone. Let me mention, angels are beings of light. They come from the heavens to earth, and they're here to protect humanity. And they've been here all along. Now, maybe you have what's called divine intervention, where a thought pops into your mind, and it's saving you from something that's dangerous. Or maybe it's something that pops into your mind, and it's going to take you farther on your path. It might be like I've shared with you, don't step off the curb and a car comes racing by and it saves you. Divine intervention is a real thing. So angels are beings of light, and they come from the heavens to protect humanity, and they're messengers and they're guides and they're warriors. And you're a warrior too. If you're here right now listening to me, then you are a powerful being. You are a warrior. You have personal power. You're going to reach down from the bottom of your spine, which is your root chakra, and you're going to pull up all your energy, and you're going to bring it forward, and you're going to connect to the light in your heart. You have you're holding space inside of your being for new knowledge, for new wisdom, for new intellect, for creative endeavors. There's good things that are coming right now into our existence. So maybe over the weekend something grand will happen. Maybe it won't. I believe that we have to have patience and trust. But at the same time, we have to have good thoughts. We have to think of good thoughts, share good thoughts. We can change the outcome. I said that yesterday. You can create the outcome. If something rushes into your mind out of nowhere, it's an impression. It's coming from another source. It's an idea. It's like, oh, it's like an epiphany. You want to hold on to that. You want to grab that idea, and you want to look at it, and you want to say, is this something that I want to do? Is this a good idea? Can I invest my time in this? Because you have the possibility, if you thought of it, if it came into your system, it's meant for you. Because we each have like attracts like. So this came to, so you look at it and you say, okay, I'm going to consider it. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to think about it. Or maybe you look at it and you go, heck no, this is not something I want to do. And you throw it away. But just know that if it came into your physical being somehow, maybe it was your mind, your heart, just somewhere within you, It's a possibility for you. So believe in yourself. All right, everybody have a wonderful evening. Let's see what's going on here. Hey, Bob Harding. Hey, Michelle. Black mirror, mirror in my hand. Show the gossip from across the... That's funny. That is a good one. And hey, Ghost Night. Well, everyone, tonight we spoke about, or today we spoke about Project Odin, which is the emergency broadcast system. What's going to happen? Operation Disclosure, the White Hats, the Q movement, the Earth Alliance. I spoke about DUMS a little bit. I spoke about gold and how it was stolen off of a plane, or actually a crate in Canada. It was Pearson Airport. Allegedly 100 million, or was it 20 million, or was it 15 million? They weren't really clear about that, but they said 3,600 pounds. So go figure. So everyone have a worldwide blackout. I'm hoping that everyone has a wonderful weekend, and I'll be back as soon as I can next week. And I hope that you spend time this weekend eating some yummy food, spending time with those that you love, do something fulfilling, maybe time in nature, get some sunlight, and I'm spinning light, and you're in the center of it, and you're making a wish, right? There's white light spinning around you, and it's going clockwise, because it's very powerful. Your visualizations are very powerful. And I'm sending that to you, and I'm spinning it the other direction, counterclockwise light. And you're spinning in the center of it, and I can see you moving. There I go. This is the first time I had a visual like that, and you're spinning in the center of it. And this is like a Merkaba, an ancient light vehicle. And there you go. And everyone have a wonderful evening. Be well. I want good things for you. And I'm always here, and we'll be back speaking again another day. Hey, music. Have a great weekend too. Everyone be well. Hey, Michael Jackson. Thank you so much. I hope you liked the video and subscribe to the channel. Bye.